A very good afternoon to all IEM UEM family members. Today, Professor Dr. Vishwajit Khan, Associate Professor of Department of Civil Engineering, UEM Jaipur, will be taking the very important and interesting topic, estimation of water retention curve of geosynthetic clay liners. So I hope everybody will like it and can understand easily. It's over to you, Dr. Vishwajit.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to everyone. Today I am going to present one of my uh, PhD topic. So that is the estimation of water retention curve of geosynthetic clay liners. So basically, geosynthetic clay liner is a factory manufactured hydraulic barrier consisting of thin layer of bentonite supported by geotextiles and or geomembrane and held together by needle punch fiber, stitch bonding or chemical adhesives. So it is generally manufactured in the form of sheet as shown in this figure. Uh, in this figure, and it is rolled over a hollow tip and worked with plastic work during transportation so that the moisture content of the GCL is not losing. So its width generally varies from 4 to 5.2 meter length. Length is 30 to 60 meter, and the mass per unit area of bentonite varies from 3.6 to 6 kg per meter square. The moisture content of GCL varies from 8 to 20%, and the thickness of GCL at initial moisture content varies from 5 to 10 mm. Then come to the types of GCL. So there are various type of GCLs are manufactured by different companies. So depending on them, GCLs are classified based on nature and type of bentonite, whether the bentonite is powder bentonite or granular bentonite, and also and the GCL is also classified based on type of geosynthetics layer used in GCL, whether it is woven geotextile, non-woven geotextile, or geomembrane, and also based on bonding, the GCL is classified as needle punching, stitching, or thermally treated. So this figure shows the stitch bonded geotextile based GCL. So this one and this one, the top one and the bottom one is the geotextile, and at the center, this one is the uh, bentonite, and the whole system is stitched. So this is the stitch pattern. So this is the needle punched needle punched geotextile based GCL, and this is the needle punched geomembrane based GCL. So black one is the geomembrane, and this one is geotextile, and this is also the geotextile. So then coming to the application of GCL, actually the GCLs are used in hydraulic barriers in cover and bottom lining systems of waste containment facilities. It is also used in liners for containment of hazardous or radioactive liquid tailing ponds, underground storage tanks, ponds, etc. due to its very low hydraulic conductivity, that is less than 10 to the power minus 10 meter per second. So GCLs are used in place of compacted clay liner. With the thickness of compacted clay liner generally varies from 0.6 meter to 1.5 meter, and its hydraulic conductivity is in the range of 10 to the power minus 9 meter per second. So the GCLs are used as compared to compacted clay liners due to some advantages. So these are the advantages. First one is the better hydraulic performance, and the second with it withstand good differential settlements of soil or waste, and it is very easy and first installation is going on field, and it is very low cost and also the limited thickness. So coming to water retention curve, water retention curve is defined as the relationship between suction and its water content. The suction can be total suction or matrix suction, while the water content uh, is gravimetric water content, volumetric water content, or degree of saturation. Water retention curve is also known as soil water retention characteristics curve or soil water retention curve. So the water retention curve is a fundamental property that gives the information about hydraulic and mechanical behavior of unsaturated soil. So this typical figure shows the water retention curve of unsaturated soil. It consists of three zones: saturation zone, transition zone, and residual zone. So in transition zone, the soil is always in saturated condition. So saturated condition means there is no air in the soil. So as the suction is increases beyond air entry value, the desaturation occurs. So desaturation means the water is flowing from the soil, and the water content is decreased as the suction is increases. And in the residual zone, a large suction is needed to remove a small quantity of water from the soil. So next, the methods for measuring WRC of GCLs. There are various methods by which we can measure the water retention curve of GCLs. These methods are grouped into two classes. First one is suction controlled methods, and the second one is moisture controlled methods. So in suction controlled methods, the specimen is subjected to a predefined suction. Then we measure the water content or volume change. So axis transversal technique, osmotic technique, and vapor equilibrium technique falls in the category of suction controlled method. While in moisture controlled methods, water content of the specimen is fixed, and then we measure the suction and volume change of the specimen. So filter paper method, tensiometer, thermocouple cyclometer, and relative humidity method falls in the category of moisture controlled methods. So these two methods either measure matrix suction or total suction, or both, depending upon the method used. And these methods give a specific range of suction. So this figure shows the suction range obtained by various method or technique, like tensiometer is used for low suction range, and axis transversal technique is also used for low suction range, and like vapor equilibrium or relative humidity is used for high suction range. So from this graph, it is observed that no method or technique is capable to capture the entire suction range of GCL, that is from 1 to 10 to power 6 kPa. So this made the researchers or scientists to combine more than one method to obtain the complete suction range. So then come to the estimation of water retention curve of GCLs. So in the laboratory, two type of GCLs was used for the determination of water retention curve. First one is geotextile based GCL, and the second is geomembrane based GCL. These are denoted as GCL1 and GCL2 throughout the study. This table shows the basic properties of bentonite core of both GCLs, like liquid limit, plastic limits, specific gravity. The water content of bentonite component of GCL1 is 12%, while for GCL2 is 14%, and the swell index is 26 ml per 2 gram for both the GCLs. So this table shows the basic properties of basic intake properties of both the GCL, like mass per unit area of GCL, mass per unit of area of bentonite, mass per unit area of cover geotextile and carrier geotextile, and also the mass per unit area of geomembrane. So in the case of GCL1, there is no geomembrane, so it is written as Na. So in the present study, the water retention curve is estimated using filter paper method and vapor equilibrium technique. So come to the vapor equilibrium technique. It is a suction controlled method in which a known suction is imposed on GCL specimen using salt solution that having a specific relative humidity. So in this study, various salt solutions like lithium chloride, calcium carbonate, sodium chloride, potassium chloride, and potassium sulfate was selected as per ASTM code, that is ASTM E104, to represent the relative humidity from 0% to 100%. So for making solution, the mass of salt that required for 100 gram of distilled water is calculated using this equation, where W2 is the solubility of the salt solution, and the value of WT is obtained from LIDA2 for a specific temperature. So for laboratory temperature 25 degrees Celsius. So after preparing the solution, the total suction of the salt solution is obtained using Kelvin equation by using this equation. So this J is the total suction, R is the universal gas constant, T is the absolute temperature in Kelvin, V is the volumetric volume of water, M is the molecular weight of water vapor, and RH is the relative humidity of salt solution. So after preparing the salt solution was kept in vacuum desiccator, and lid was placed to make an airtight environment, and the solution was kept for equilibrium. The solution was kept for 1 day to achieve temperature and moisture equilibrium. After that, the total suction of salt solution was measured using WP4C device. So this table shows the total suction and relative humidity that is measured by WP4C device. So directly the device gives the total suction, and the relative humidity is obtained using this Kelvin equations. And this is the range given in the ASTM code, that is ASTM E104. It was observed that the relative humidity obtained from WP4C device is well agreement with RH values given in ASTM code. So after that, the specimen was placed in a hanging platform over the salt solution. So so here two conditions were considered. One condition is a specimen under free swell condition, and the other condition is a specimen under stress condition. So in this study, 20 kPa stress condition is considered. So the 20 kPa stress was applied using iron cylinder. After that, the lid of the vacuum desiccator was kept, and the desiccator was airtight for equilibrium. Every 24 hours, this apparatus, this desiccator was opened, and the specimen was removed for the measurement of its mass, and also the measurement for total suction of salt solution. So, and from the total suction, the relative humidity of salt solution is calculated. So after that, the specimen was again placed in the vacuum decentimeter. So this process is continued for almost 25 to 30 days till the equilibrium has achieved. And from this graph, it shows that the relative humidity does not changes with time. So this indicates that a equilibrium has reached on the specimen, and the water retention curve is basically it is a relationship between suction versus water content. Water content is measured directly from the water mass of the specimen, while the suction of the specimen is measured from the total suction of salt solution. So this process is repeated for remaining other solutions. So come to the test results of VT. The test results are classified into two categories. First one is water absorption behavior, and the other is the water desorption behavior. So three solutions shows the water absorption behavior like sodium chloride, potassium chloride, and potassium sulfate. So as we see from this graph, the water content of GCl increases with the as the number of days increases due to the absorbance of water from the solution. And it is also observed that the equilibrium water content is higher for the solution having higher relative humidity. So 98.1 is the relative humidity of potassium sulfate. So it is also observed that the water content of GCl under free swell condition is more as compared to under stress condition, because in stress condition the specimen was under stress and it will not absorb sufficient moisture from the solution. So this is the similar test results of GCl2, but one difference is noted in GCl2 as compared to GCl1, that the maximum water content achieved by GCl2 is less as compared to GCl1, because in GCl2 it has geomembrane on one side, so it absorbs less moisture as compared to GCl1, where there is no geomembrane. So then come to the desorption behavior. The solution of potassium carbonate and lithium chloride shows the desorption behavior. So here the specimen will lose water to the solution. Okay, so it is also observed from this figure that the water content under free swell condition is more as compared to under stress condition. So this is the similar test result for GCl2. So the present test results are compared with the results that are available in the literature. So it is observed that the present test results were good agreement with those available in the literature, and it is also observed that there is a particular RH above that absorption phenomena takes place, and below that desorption phenomena takes place. So the boundary point is around near 53%. So similarly, the present test results is compared with those available in the literature. So in the case, this is in terms of dimensional parameter. So, okay, sir, poll the first poll.
Okay,
Hello?
okay. Yeah, I am just shooting first poll.
First poll.
Just a moment. So the first poll is the GCLs are used as an alternative is compacted. This one?
Yeah, that was the first question.
Okay. So I will launch the poll. So I will request all the members to kindly participate. The question is the GCLs are used as an alternative to compacted clay liner is due to. The options are better hydraulic performance. Second is withstand differential settlement, easy and fast installation, low cost and limited thickness, all of the above. Already we received around 40% of voting. 30 seconds passed. We will wait till 1 minute. So it is almost reaching up to 50%. So it is already 1 minute and 51% voted. So I am closing it now and sharing the results. So Dr. Vishrit, the result is better hydraulic performance is 34% and withstand differential settlement is 11%, easy and fast installation 5%, low cost and limited thickness 1% only, and all of the above is 49%. So what is your take on this?
Sir, all of the above is the right option.
Okay, so 49% of the participants have given the correct answer, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Sir, can I proceed
So now
further?
you can continue, please.
So come to the second, that is filter paper method. So in filter paper method, the suction is measured by contact filter paper method and non-contact filter paper method. So in contact filter paper method, the matrix suction is obtained, while in non-contact filter paper method, the total suction is obtained. So this schematic diagram shows the for both contact and non-contact. So in contact filter paper method, the two specimen was of equal water content was sandwiched between three oven dry filter papers. That is Waterman number 42 filter papers, and the same as and the assembly is kept in a airtight container for 7 days to achieve moisture equilibrium. So after moisture equilibrium, the water content of the filter paper is measured, and the suction of the specimen was obtained using the calibration curve of various filter paper like Van Galuchan, Fredland Engine, Leong et al. And ASTM 2016. So these are the calibration curves for filter paper. Uh, while in non-contact filter papers, as you the name the suggest, the filter paper is not in direct contact with the specimen. So for that, a a plastic PVC ring is kept in between a specimen and filter paper, and the assembly was kept in an airtight container to achieve moisture equilibrium. So after moisture equilibrium, the water content of this filter paper is measured, and the total suction of the GCL specimen is obtained using these calibration curves. So these are the test results for filter paper methods. This is the water content versus gravity matrix section. And this is for contact filter paper method, and this is for non-contact filter paper method. So, and in this figure also the test results obtained from VT is also included. So it observed that means all except Fredland and G, the all gives near about same suction in the case for GCL1 for matrix suction, and for GCL2 in the case of total suction, Van Galuchan and Leong et al. Gives best results. So the similar results for GCL2. So this is the comparison of present test results with those available in the literature, and it was observed that the present test results are well agreement with those available in the literature. This is for GCL1 and this is for GCL2. So actually the field the laboratory obtained water retention curve is a discrete data points. So we have to convert the discrete data points into a continuous curve. For that, the data points is fitted with various water retention models. So for that, various water retention models were adopted, like Van Galuchan model, Farm and Ching model, Farm and Fredland model, and Gold-Ettal 2000 model. So here W is the water content, while psi is the suction. Okay, and then these are some fitting parameters are there. So this is the discrete data points is fitted with various water retention models as discussed in the previous slides. So from this graph, it shows that the Palm and Fredland model gives better means it fits well with the experimental data points as it observed that the RSQL value is more for Palm and Fredland model. So this is the combined water retention curve obtained from filter paper method with vapor equilibrium technique, as you discussed in the beginning slides, that VT is used for high suction range, while filter paper is used for low suction range. So that's why filter paper and VT is adopted. So and this discrete data points is fitted with various models like VG, FX, PF, and Gold-Ettal, and it is observed that PF and Gold-Ettal model fits well with the experimentally obtained data points, because these two equations has more controlling parameter as compared to the VG and FX model. So this is the similar test results for GCL2. So one thing is noticed here, that the maximum water content achieved by GCL2 is less as compared to GCL1, as GCL2 has geomembrane on one side, and by fitting various water retention curves, these are the fitting parameters obtained, and for various models for GCL1 and GCL2. So as you see from this table, that the primary parameters like air entry value and residual suction obtained from various models is near about same for both the GCLs, and these parameters can be later used for the numerical purpose. So thank you.
So should I shoot the second poll?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, just a moment. So this is water retention curve is defined as, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I request all to participate in the poll. The question is water retention curve is defined as, the options are relationship between water content versus suction. The second option is relationship between hydraulic conductivity versus suction, and none of the above. Already 24 seconds, 32% voted. Again, we'll wait till 1 minute. So the voting percentage is equal to the time lapsed, around 53%, but now the voting percentage is behind, 48% only. So 1 minute is there, and we are 49%, waiting till it is reaching 50%. If we can wait 1 or 2 seconds more. No, it is not reaching, it's 49% only. So closing and sharing the result. So the result is relationship between water content versus suction is 61%. And the second option, relationship between hydraulic conductivity versus suction, is 31%. None of the above is 7%. So what's your take on that, Dr. Vishwajit?
Sir, first one is the correct answer. That is the relation between water content and suction.
Okay, so very good. So 61% participants have got it correct. So very good. I'm just looking into if any question is there. Just allow me one moment. Yeah, one question is there from Professor Amit Kumar Mondal. Is gravimetric anyway related to gravity?
No, sir. Actually, gravimetric means we measure the water content in terms of weight, and it is easy to measure by Oben-Dry methods. Means gravimetric means it is expressed in terms of weight.
Okay, okay. So many good comments are there from Madhusudan Bade. Thank you, sir, for wonderful presentation. And
Thank you,
from
sir.
Sanjay Mandal, nice presentation. Thank you, sir. So no more questions I'm seeing right now. Okay, so I hope we can wind up here. Okay, so thank you, Dr. Vishwajit, and thanks to all IEM UEM family members to attend this session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir, and also thank you everyone for listening this webinar talk.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.